long process.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Recovery Guy. If it is Thursday, this must be the Checkup. I am in studio today with my man, JJ, Juan Jimenez, the podcast engineers of podcast engineers, and we're going to get some things done today. I'm so excited to be back with you. It's always exciting to share my experience, strength, and hope with you during this checkup. You know, as we even consider what a checkup means, check this out. It's actually a verb. If you listen to me a lot, you're going to know I love words and definitions and science, even though I'm not really smart, because I like a place to land, right? Every now and then, it's good to share an opinion and an idea, an original thought, if there was any such thing. However, I like to go to the experts, you know, like Stephen Covey and Albert Einstein and Newton's Law and Father Martin and Napoleon Hill and Zig Ziglar and Tom Hopkins and Daniel Webster with his amazing dictionary, right? I like to cover these people because they say so eloquently what I've tried to implement and apply in my life. Having said that, check this out. The checkup is a verb designed to find out what a person is doing in order to make certain that the person is behaving correctly. Now, that's what I call a checkup. So we're going to set something up and put it in order so our behavior gets adjusted. Now, I was talking to JJ before the broadcast today, so we were talking about learning and studying. So I even looked those words up, right? To learn means to study, right? So repetition is the mother of learning, and that's part of studying. But then I looked up the word study, and it means devotion of time and attention to acquire knowledge. So I hope that when you hear me today and hear any of my other broadcasts on the Checkup, or if you join us Monday for the Fix, that you just don't listen once, but you listen over, and hopefully there'll be enough meat on the bone and it'll be delivered in an energetic, understanding, believable way that you'll be able to relate, that you're going to want to come back and listen again. I was talking again to JJ before the episode today, and I was listening to Father Martin Chalk Talk that I think was done like in 1972. I first heard this thing back in 1986 when I first came to the rooms of recovery. I guarantee you, I have listened to that talk probably 5 times to 10 times, especially early on, every year. So I've probably listened to Father Martin's Chalk Talk 150 times, and I still use it as a checkup because it's one of the most profound talks I've ever heard on addiction. And actually, I do have it on my website at recoveryguy.org. So recoveryguy.org, under podcast, you'll see Father Martin. There's a picture of him there. You can't miss it. And listen to that. Take a look at it. I'll talk to JJ and see if we'll throw that up on Podbean, or if you listen to iTunes podcast, we'll try to get it there in the next couple weeks for you to make it a little bit more convenient. Anyway, let's get to today's talk. Let's get to today's checkup. And here's the deal. Did you ever find yourself sort of, caught up in between things and you're not sure of how you got there? did you ever get to a particular place where, whether it was recovery or a different aspect of your life, if they're not one and the same, right? You ever get to a particular place in life and someone said, well, how did you get here? What brought you to this thinking? What were you doing before? And you really didn't have a great answer. You're not really sure what you're doing, where you're at, and you're not even really sure what you got there. So doing a checkup makes it really difficult. I used to be involved as a sales trainer, and one of the things that I would try to do with salesmen I was working with was to sort of find out where the sale itself fell apart. Or if I'm working with someone in recovery at a treatment center or a hospital or through one of my social media contacts, I sort of say, okay, where's your stumbling block, especially in relapse prevention? Where's your stumbling block? Where did you come from to get to where you're at, because that's where you're stuck, right? So most of the time, that's really difficult for many people to say. So it's really hard to do a checkup if you don't know how you got to where you're at. So what I like to do is sort of dial it back and see what my day looks like so I can control the day a little bit better. And the best way to do a checkup is to have sort of a systematic approach to every day. So I'm not just living every day, by the seat of my pants, right? I'm just not sort of making it up as I go along. So let me share with you some of the things that I do that I get to fall back on in the course of my checkup. And I've been doing these things pretty systematically for probably 20 years. And I've sort of reformulated them. So if you've got something to write down, or you're going to come back and revisit this podcast, that's great, because, it took me from being confused and not knowing how to move forward. And I wasn't sure of how I got there, so I didn't know how to move back. So we just sort of stuck right where I was at. Have you ever been just stuck, right? In an emotional or spiritual or practical aspect, and you're just not really sure where to move or how to move back or how to undo it. So here's what I've done, and maybe this will make sense for you. So I like to sort of start my day, but so much depends upon how I ended the previous day, right? And I have another theory about that, but that'll have to wait for another podcast. But I always want to make sure that I've got a good night's rest. So critical, a good night's rest. And if you notice, I didn't say good night's sleep. Just because I've slept doesn't mean I've rested. It just means I slept. And so getting rest lends itself so much to repairing the body physically and emotionally and even mentally, right? And even to a greater degree, a spiritual sense gives us rest. It gives me the energy that I need to stay focused during the day. Another thing that I like to do to help control and make sure I can look back and say, did I do this as part of my checkup? Did I wake up early enough to take some personal time, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes of quiet reflection, right? This is so important. And I know for some of you out there, you're working 2 jobs. You might be juggling relationships. You have children. There's always going to be things that make it more difficult for some of us to do some of these things. And I get that. But it doesn't diminish our need to do it, nor does it remove our personal responsibility to make sure it happens. And sometimes, we can only do 3 minutes early, sometimes 5 minutes early, sometimes 10 minutes early. Some of us can do 15 to 20 minutes early, but we have to do something at least from a start. The next thing I like to do is make a personal commitment to think on the things that bring a sense of joy and areas of gratitude. The more I position my mind, especially after I come out of my meditation, to position my mind to think on things that are positive and uplifting, right? One of the things that I like to do is think on, number one, I woke up. And I know that sounds funny, but not everybody did, right? And I spoke about this on the Fix with Gratitude. Go back and listen to the gratitude from last Monday on the Fix and pick up some of those things there and incorporate those into, that'll be some of your homework, right? Go back to Monday's broadcast, listen to the gratitude, and pick up some of the things that I suggest we be grateful for and incorporate those into this third step here. Then, as I'm going in the course of my day, sometimes I have to do it the evening before. Sometimes I have time, even I'll do meditation while I'm making something healthy for my breakfast. I love to cook. I love to be in the kitchen. So I love to cook my own meals for the day, get a little breakfast going, a little high protein for lunch. And a lot of times I'll turn on some music and I'll do my meditation and my mind clearing exercises during this time. But I like to eat healthy in the morning and continue that to the best I can throughout the day. I want to be able to control my food intake so my food intake doesn't control me. Then, as I'm driving to work or going to where I ever need to be, sometimes I'm working from home. So I want to listen to or read something inspirational. I'm a big podcast guy, and there's a lot of great podcasters out there that you might want to connect to, and maybe I'll even dedicate a podcast to giving you a list of the people that I listen to. I love the quote of the day. It's vibrant, about 7 to 10, 12-minute quotes of the day, really get my mind off right. So quote of the day is a great one. I love to do some inspirational growth materials that really challenge me to grow from the inside out. Then I like to think of all the reasons that living this life that I live brings me great joy. I like to think about all the people who make this life so complete, whether it was Slow Will or Fast Eddie or Buddy or my sponsor Jack or my wife Laura or my children. I like to figure out all the reasons, every component I have in my life that makes this such a badass place to be, right? And I get real, going back to that gratitude thing again. And what can I do then to meet that family or those personal needs? Next thing I like to do, this sounds really simple, but boy, it's so important. This is number 7, if you're writing this down. Proper hydration throughout the day. There is so many statistics on hydration. Did you know that we are 60% water and our heart is 90% water, and we're releasing that water throughout the course of our day, and anything that's necessary, that's released, has to be replenished. And if we're releasing hydration, we have to replenish with hydration. If you're fatigued or tired towards the end of the day, I can almost guarantee you that you're not getting the hydration that you need. Number 8 is regular exercise. Stay active. Be out there doing things. In my basement, I actually have a rope that's connected to my wall so I can do knee bends and increase my circulation, right? So I'm always looking to do things, going up and down the stairs, parking a little bit away from the building where I work so I can walk up the stairs instead of taking the elevators. So it's not always being at the gym to exercise. It's incorporating simple things into the course of our daily life to stay active, to keep the blood flow, keep that moving. Here's a real big one for me. You know, I like that HALT formula: hungry, angry, lonely, tired, right? Here's speaking to the loneliness part of it. Make sure the people for whom we care know that we care about them. That is so critical. I was talking to one of my life coaches, Damon Willis, today, and we were sharing about reciprocation and how it makes you feel when you share with someone your personal regard for them, and then they respond and receive your sincere compliment or word of encouragement. And so not only are we building them up, but when they acknowledge that and they receive that and acknowledge it, it validates me. So not only does that person win when I make a point of sharing with them how important that they are, that I care for them, but they're saying that they care about me. And you know what? Who doesn't like to be validated? Who doesn't like to be acknowledged that what they feel about someone is special to them, and that person in turn not only receives it, but they feel special about me in return? You know what? Make a positive difference in the life of at least one person every day. And you know what? We have the greatest opportunity to do this in so many courses of our life. You know, we're always going in to get a soda. We're going somewhere to get lunch. We're going somewhere to get gas. I'm a big Home Depot guy because I love home repair. And so, you know, these Home Depot people, they're amazing. You could ask them where to find the most smallest object, and they're going to know on 37A, if you go down the aisle, it's going to be on the left-hand side right next to widget B. It's unbelievable how these people do it. So you know what? I take that opportunity to tell them, I think you're incredible. I could never work here because it's obvious I'm not as smart as you are. You know what? And when I say that and I laugh and I joke with them, but I really mean it, because now I get to go find that widget I was looking for. And they appreciate that. And you know what? No matter how their day is going, I just made their day better. You know? And if we can do that to strangers, man, how much more can we do that to people we do care about, we do have relationships about? You know, we treat everyone better, one person at a time. And, you know, that whole pay it forward thing, that's a real thing, right? And if I do it for you and you do it for someone else, and next thing you know, we're being cool with each other and we're appreciating each other, and the universe is better because of it, because I know I am and I know you are. Finally, at the end of my day, I express a deep sense of gratitude for what I was given. You know, it is so important to close out my day with being grateful. I have been given so much. I've lost a lot along the way, but I don't remember all that I lost, but I remember all that I've been given. Because what I've been given so far overshadows what I've lost. And whether it was losing my sisters, or the day my dad passed away, or losing my sponsor Jack of over 30 years, or my mom she's in a home but she doesn't know who I am anymore, so I've lost that reciprocal relationship. So, you know, there's things that we lose along the way that are important to us and we hold. But when we live this life right, with the perspective of wellness and getting better all the time and moving away from that addictive mindset and developing a mind that allows us to be free, we have so much to be grateful for. And every day I am thankful. And I close my day with all the things that I'm grateful for. I sort of take a look at my day and see what I could do better tomorrow. I look and see if there's an area where I need to go and apologize to someone, to make a relationship I wronged, to make it right. But I close the day out. I release myself from all the negativity. I accentuate the positive. So sleep comes quicker, so rest is deeper. And then I start my day with knowing I got great rest. And I have one more item here, a 12th one, and it's laughter. Lighten up. Don't take yourself too darn seriously. It's actually Rule 62, and I'm not even sure of why it's called Rule 62. But don't take yourself too darn seriously. Laughter, a merry heart does good like a medicine. These are things that I do every day. And when I talk about that checkup, I pretty much know if I'm sideways during a day, I often go back to this list and I say, what didn't I do? What area didn't I miss? Did I not have enough time of meditation? Did I not eat properly? Because what I put in my body helps determine what comes out of my body, even in an attitude. Just because I eat doesn't mean I satisfied a hunger. It just means I ate. And when I look at these things, did I invest in someone? Did I get that reciprocal response, right? Did I drink enough water? Did I hydrate enough? Am I being active enough? I look at all these things throughout the course of my day, and I evaluate it, and it helps me overcome the challenge that sometimes this world can impose. I hope this helped. I hope this added to whatever checkup you're doing. And if you're not doing a checkup at all, hey, maybe adopt this one and use it as your own checkup. Who's going to know? I took most of these things from other people. You can take it from me and we'll all do it together, right? The most important thing is we do a checkup, we get well, we get weller, as my dear late friend Tom Bennett said. We can become weller than the well, right? That's terrible grammar, but I love it. Because I want to become well and I want to become weller, right? So this is a checkup. This is Robert. I am the Recovery Guy. Thank you for joining me today. And on behalf of JJ and me, have a great afternoon. I was trying to do everything